The Dotted Hearts die is the first in our dotted series, which is evolved from our original Nesting Dotted Shapes die set. You can leave the little circles as they are for a dotted design or connect them with a simple backstitch to turn them into a little dimensional embellishment. This technique works extremely well with vellum, but works great with regular cardstock too. Usually, a vellum piece is much thinner than the cardstock we use for die cutting. You can fold the vellum piece a couple of times to die cut all the pieces out at once. For our first example, we are stacking 3 hearts of the same size. For those of you who don't know what a backstitch is, here's how to do it. Instead of starting with the first hole of your line, your first stitch will come out of the second hole. The needle we used is a number 22 needle, and the thread is embroidering floss, with all 6 strands unseparated. Now go back to the first hole, then come out the third hole and go back to the second hole, and so on. It's normal for the thread to twist, just release it from your hand and let it spin. Once you finish the line, just weave the thread back and forth through the spine of your stitches on the back to bring the ends closer together. Tie a double knot, then trim off the excess. All the dimensions here will help you build some dimension without foam tapes. You could separate the little pieces out to make an ornament. To make a loop for these ornaments, start in the first hole on the front. Remember to leave enough thread for your tie. Then come out the second hole and go back in the first hole. Weave back through the spine to meet the ends at the top. Hope you will have fun choosing the thread color to go with your paper. Here's a quick look at what they look like when 3 sizes are stacked and stitched together. Don't forget you can always add these hearts to the inside of your cards. We use the same method for stitching on cardstock, but instead of 3 layers, 1 or 2 layers is usually thick enough. Weave back and tie a double knot and trim off the excess. If you are a more advanced stitcher, you can always just weave the first end in the spine as you go. All you need is some liquid adhesive to adhere these. Add glue to just the spine of your stitches and keep holding it down until the glue dries. Usually it takes about 15 to 20 seconds. You will be able to fill it by gently pushing on the edges. If your stitched hearts will stay in places, you can go ahead and lift up the top layer for more dimension. This cute bear is from the Intertwined Bear Hugs die that is also new this month. The next card is quick and leaves no waste when done. Trim your cardstock in 3 coordinating colors to 1/4 of a letter size cardstock. Use about half of each sheet for the 3 hearts. Make it a habit to poke out all the little pieces left in your die after each cut. This will ensure great cuts every time. Divide and stack the hearts into 3 groups. You can stitch them like we did earlier, or use foam strips to adhere them together. The dotted design is cute, isn't it? To trim your cardstock for the background, align the left edge to the 2 1/4 inch mark to trim. You don't need to be exact. If your piece ends up narrower, you just need to have a bigger gap in the middle for the 3rd color. They will look amazing either way. One more quick tip, to get a group of 3 spaced out perfectly, it's always easier to adhere the 2 elements on the ends first, and then you can use them for reference to adhere the 3rd element in the center. Isn't it fun? We have many pre-cut sentiment strips that work great for a graphic design like this. You can add a strip to each heart to complete a saying, or a simple strip on either of the hearts. Even if you can't decide what sentiments to use on these cards, it's never a bad idea to keep some of these on hand. They can go with almost any occasion. Don't forget, you can always add these cute hearts to the inside of your cards. The link to our entire Hugs Inside release is linked in the description. We hope you'll check it out. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you again soon.